Hello, everyone. Welcome to my web university, my YouTube channel, where I bring you computer science related topics or information science or information technology, anything related to computer and computer science related subjects I cover so I could help you with your classes that you take at college or at work for your careers to enhance your careers and do better at your jobs. With that in mind, let's get started for today's topic. Today, I'm going to go to the PowerPoint presentation. And if I go through a slideshow, as you can see, I'm going to cover Enterprise Linux Rocky version 9. So for your entertainment, I put some of the nice pictures of Rocky Balboa. Let's get started. So Rocky Linux, that's the topic that we're going to cover today. It is not about Rocky Balboa, and it is not about this picture either. It is about Enterprise Linux Rocky version 9. So you might see Rocky Balboa as a movie star, Sylvester Stallone, Stallone, or Rocky Balboa, great movie star. But at the same time, we're talking about Enterprise Linux version 9. My name is Wahid Lutfi. I'm going to be the presenter here, and I'll present you Rocky Linux version 9.2, the enterprise version. Once again, not the Rocky Balboa, or this Rocky Balboa, or this Rocky Balboa. So we're going to talk about Linux Enterprise version 9, this one. Let's get started with About page. What is Rocky Linux? The Rocky Linux was started from CentOS operating system, CentOS, which stands for Community Enterprise Edition of Operating System. As you can see, CentOS is C for Community, E and T for Enterprise, OS for operating system. So the Community Enterprise Operating System, the co-founder was also Rocky McGough, and then the other co-founder is Gregory Kurtzer, which is the founder of Rocky Linux as well. He gave kind of credit or appreciation for the contribution of Rocky McGough at the time that they both work on CentOS version. And as you can see that he must have not been with us anymore. God bless him if he passed away, because at some point he says we never got to see the success of CentOS came to be. I introduce you the Rocky Linux. So in that case, for his contribution, that is a great contribution that he did with Gregory together, and then he is thanking him, and we thank both of them for their great contribution. So with that in mind, let's get started with Rocky Linux to see what I can present you today. So Enterprise Linux Rocky version 9 is a virtual machine that I'm going to install and on a virtual machine. So that would be a Rocky Linux running as a virtual machine, as a VM. So the agenda that I'm going to cover today is a Rocky website, how to visit the Rocky website, rockylinux.org website, download the ISO image, which I have already done, and then I'm going to install it on a host operating system. In this case, is Windows 11 operating system. You can install the VirtualBox software, which is in this case VirtualBox software for virtualization or hypervisor kind of software. You can install it on a number of platforms, whether it's Macintosh or Mac OS X, or not Macintosh, Mac OS X, which is Unix BSD version, Unix of Berkeley Software Distribution version of it is called Mac OS X. Or you can do it on Windows operating system, Windows 10, Windows 11, or Linux, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Rocky. All of them, they could run virtualization software, and VirtualBox is a free download from oracle.com website or virtualbox.org website. and then you download it and then install it as a virtualization software, or hypervisor software. Then you create a virtual machine, and virtual machine could be any combination of Windows operating system, Windows 10, Windows 11, or whatever version of Windows or whatever version of Linux. The flavor of Linux that is can run on as a VM could be any Debian distribution, Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS, Rocky, all of them, or can be run OpenSUSE, whatever VM that you want to build, you can just do it on virtualization software. So post installation of this virtual machine as a Rocky, what we're going to do after the installation, and then how to do upgrade on the version and how to update it. All of that one will be covered. Then at the same time, I'm going to have future videos that will be discussing Fedora distribution, Rocky versus CentOS, and Enterprise Linux Rocky 9 full course. The full course will cover everything related to Rocky 9 on a virtual machine, and then I'll show you from A to Z. So if you're a beginner level or intermediate level or advanced level or developer, programmer, something, running an interpreter, creating file system, everything will be on the full course. So I'll discuss that one on another video. But with this video, I'm gonna discuss first virtualization. So what is virtualization? Virtualization basically allows you to run multiple operating system on a given hardware. And you are creating virtual machine. With virtual machine, you're using resources of your system, your host operating system, and you're sharing memory and CPU within those VMs. And as you give them the resources, you are creating these virtual machine, and these virtual machine are running on memory as container. And then there's other concept of virtualization, and there's a different type of it. In this video, we're discussing virtualization with a VirtualBox, but virtualization, which is also provided by VMware. There's also virtualization on Solaris operating system called Solaris zoning and logical domain, and then also on the Linux is a libvirt. There's a lot of different type of virtualization you could do, but at the same time, kernel virtualization, and there's so many other ones. But mostly these two, VMware virtualization and VirtualBox, they're dominating the virtualization, whether you're using on the cloud or Amazon Web Services, you're using one type of these kind of virtualization, especially the VirtualBox, which is also for home and business that are, you know, you want to run free software, free open source code, then you can just run VirtualBox and you don't have to purchase support, because the whole software is really easy to use and everything works as you download them. There's two terms that you need to know is host operating system versus guest operating system. On virtualization, if you just are running a Windows machine, your host machine as the operating system that you're running, that contains all your resources and memory, CPU, all the hard disk, everything is controlled by the operating system. That's called the host operating system. Every other VM virtual machine that you create in VirtualBox or VMware software, using those software, you are creating a virtual machine. And those VMs that is running a different operating system or given the same operating system, but they're called guest operating system because they come as guest in memory, and then when you shut down the virtual machine, they don't exist aside from the VMDK file or the files that are just created by the operating system at the time of creation that contains the virtual machine or VM itself. Aside from that one, there's not that many. Everything becomes a process and then runs on memory. So that's why you can create snapshot of it. You can move it to another Hyper-V or another VirtualBox location, different LAN or something. You can configure them. So host, is the operating system. In our example, we're using a VirtualBox version 7.0, which I have already downloaded and installed and created a number of VMs. But because of the demo, I'm going to repeat the installation of Rocky version of 9, Enterprise Linux 9, as a guest operating system on a host operating system of Windows 11. So to download the Rocky version, I provide you the link or Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure URL, which is rockylinux.org/download. When you download that one, basically you go to a download page, which I'm going to show you next. And then I've already downloaded, but I'm going to show you when you do it, what you're going to see. So let's get to the main page. I'm going to go to a Rocky website. As you can see that I have some pictures of these ones and that I just wanted to see if I could entertain you. We're not talking about this Rocky Balboa. And so we're talking about this version, Rocky Linux. And then the co-founder of this one, as you can see, if I go to the About page, on the About page of this, right here about Rocky Linux, you see Gregory's information here, thanking the co-founder Rocky McGough. So Rocky McGough was another co-founder of CentOS that they put together, Gregory and him put together, and then now we know something that replaced CentOS. CentOS OS was about a year ago, was I think was June of 2022, was end of life. So now Rocky version, it is the latest version that we have is Rocky 9. And then you go to the download page right here. So to go to download page, you have this download page. You can see the download the official release of Rocky from one of the trusted mirrors. The trusted mirrors are here. So it shows that as of May 2032, planned end of life. So this is going to end of life in May 31st, 2032. That's like another 9 years from now. So that is pretty good in terms of long-term support. But Rocky 9 is, you can see, for x86-64 version have it, for ARM64 they have it, from PPC 64 LE, and then S390X. The version that I'm running is, I'm going to run it for x86 64-bit. And here's the DVD downloads, a minimal boot and torrent. So I downloaded the DVD version, which is 9 point some gig in size. And the reason I did that one, if I just open a command prompt here, first you need to know your operating system that you're running. So as you can see, I'm running a Windows 11 build 10. So if I just make the screen a little bit bigger, and then I say system info 5 more, you can see that I'm running Windows 11 operating system, Microsoft Windows 11 Professional. And then somewhere here it says that it's Intel 64-bit family with 3.4 gigahertz. I can do that information, read all of this, and then look at my memory, how much memory I have, is how much is left. You see, I have 32 and 23 gigs left. Or I could just say, well, clear the screen, say host name as algorithm. I can run the same command here with the, and instead of more, I can say find a string /I and then say OS name. So /I meaning ignore the case. I'm going to get the operating system information, and it's the build version and all the detail that I want. At the same time, if I'm looking for the memory to see how much memory I have, I can run this command, find string slash I, ignore the case memory. So this mem is matching everywhere that it says mem here. So the 32 gig I have is 23 gig is available. That means I can create a VM with 16 gig to just smooth out the process. And then if I just look for the model to see what kind of architecture the processor is, then it tells me Intel 64-bit family here. Also, I can say device manager on this one and just on Windows start menu. When you do device manager, if you click on the processor, double click on it, you can see that I have 8 cores of Intel 11 generation Intel i7, and then with 3.4 gigahertz, 8 of them. So that tells me that I'm good with i386 platform, or I mean Intel 64-bit platform. And then if I just minimize this one, then this is good, and this DVD is good. So I'm gonna go here on the command line to show you that I have already downloaded. So I CD to download directory here, and then clear a screen, do a directory, a Rocky star, and you can see that this file that I did is a .iso image, and it's a 64-bit DVD that I downloaded today. So it is already downloaded, and then it is about a 9.4 gigabyte. So I'm gonna use that one as my image to install Rocky. So at this time, I need to come in back to virtual box, because I did verify my operating system is host operating system is Windows, and then now I'm going to create a new virtual box. This is how we're going to create the virtual machine now. We have the virtual box software here. The version is VirtualBox 7.0. We're going to just create new here. We're going to just say, go ahead, do a Rocky 9. We're going to give that name Rocky 9, and then the image that we are going to do is Rocky 9.2 x86 version, 64-bit. Everything else is good. Then we're going to say on the disk images, everything is good. Hardware, hard disk, how much for the hard disk. Notice that memory base here is 2 gig. I'm going to allocate it to 16 gig. So we're going to give 16 384, and then the processor, instead of 1, I'm going to give it 4 processor. And then hard disk, we're going to just give hard disk. And notice the hard disk is about 20 gig. I'm going to give it a little bit more size, like maybe create it about 100 gig or something like that. Close to 100 gig is good enough. 101 is gig is fine. So I allocate that one, and then everything looks good on this one, and then the DVD is good. The only other issue that I have is right now, I don't see the bottom of the screen, so I can select the continue button on this one to say, go ahead, do it. As you can see, I don't see the bottom. And then if I go select this one, I could just say, that is good. I'm going to just say, let's see if this is not good because of the size here. I'm going to try to do a tab here. Unfortunately, I cannot change a display setting. Let me just see. I could do it from here, display setting. Yeah, display setting, I could do it from here, and I could change it from 150 to 125. Now close this one, and then I can now on the VirtualBox software, I should be able to see the bottom of it, which I do. Now I can just click on it and say finish. everything else is good, and now I'm finishing it. Now I go back here and change the display setting here to a normal size of 150% because that's the recommended, and you can see the screen better. So I just booted the ISO image of this one, and this is the screen that it is there. So this one, it does not detect it. I'm going to say power it off. I'm going to come back to the virtual box here, check my setting to make sure that a setting is what I thought that it should be. So under this, you have this button of setting. You click on it and you click on the system. The processor, you have 4 processor. In terms of the memory, we have base memory 16 gig, that is good. And then the PS2, I'm going to change it to USB tablet. And then for the display, I'm going to increase the video memory to 128 meg. Then I'm going to click on the storage. And then as you can see here, this one is the device that is unattended this, and then the VDI file is not having it. It's I need to just remove this one, the ID, and just add the proper Linux Rocky version here. And so I'll remove this one, yes, and then I'm going to just say add, and then I look at the one Rocky 9.2 ISO image here. I choose it, and now this is chosen. I'm going to say OK, and then I click on start. This time it should just use the 16 gig processor with 4 processor and 16 gig of memory and all those other options. And as you can see, it does. So I'm going to just come back here on this screen, and then under the view, I can click on the view and say scale mode. So you can see it better. Now it says Rocky Linux 9 or tested or just do troubleshoot. I'm not going to do troubleshoot. I don't test it. I want to do install Rocky Linux 9.2. So I click on that, and then this one is going to give me the notification of what's happening. I don't need to see it, mouse integration, all of that. I want to see it on the screen to see what it's doing. And it is going through the installation. Hopefully it will open up on the right menu, which it does. As you can see, it opens a nice graphical interface with English to continue. I'm going to say yes, go ahead, continue with English as the installation. The keyboard is also English, so I'm going to say done. And then the language supported is English, done. And then time and date is Los Angeles, America, which is good for my Pacific Standard Time. That is good. And then installation source, we're gonna just already selected the media, which is the DVD, local media. Software selection is going to be a server with GUI. We have option of server, minimal installation, workstation, and we have additional software selected, whether you want debugging tools or DNS or a mail server. All these other options are there. We're going to go with server with GUI, with graphical user interface. That is good. And then software selection. Now, the destination directory, because I allocated 101 gig, now I see that one, I select it, and I say, yeah, go ahead and install it on the destination, which is now showing, let's say, it should say disk is selected rather than not selected. So I did select this one, and then, yeah, you click on it, it's checked, and it should say check this image. Now it says automatic partition selected. The automatic partition selected is important. When you look at this one, this is doing a XFS portation. So if you want to just customize it, you have option of customization here. You can create a /var /user root all the partition. That would be just a customization. The kernel dump by default is enabled. I'm going to leave that one enabled. And then network host name, I'm going to just use the ENP0S3, the interface, and you can see the Wi-Fi already detected through NAT, network address translation from the Windows VirtualBox does that one for me. And then security profile, it's not no profile selected, that's fine. At this time, I'm just going to test something, and then we can do that later. And then I'm gonna add a root password here. The root password should be longer than 7 characters, than 8 characters, and it has to be combination of lowercase and uppercase and some special characters, and it must be longer than 8 characters long. And then you do that one, click done. So now root password is set. We're all set to go. That's why this begin installation comes in. You click on this one, and then the installation starts. This might take a few minutes to several minutes, or to more than 10-15 minutes, depending on your hardware resources. But because I have allocated 16 gigabyte of memory, and then 4 processors, and then Intel 7, this is going to be fast enough. It's going to be less than 5 minutes. It's going to be installed. In any ways, I'm not going to just bore you with 5 minutes of this, just changing a little bit resolution and display. So I'm going to pause the video at this time, and when it's done, I will restart again. Thank you for watching. Okay, as I was predicting, it's about 5 or 6 minutes it took to complete it, and now the installation completed, and it is ready for me to reboot and agree with the license agreement. So I'm going to just click on the reboot to reboot the system. Once the system reboots, it's going to go through a post installation to make sure that I agree with the license and everything else. And then I can log into the system and use the system for the first time. But after the system is up and running, I need to just do some software update, which is DNF update, or from the GoWare, I can see it. As you can see, it is welcome to Rocky version 9.2, and it has this button for start up the system. So I'm gonna just move again this Zoom menu, which is blocking my view, but you can see the startup. I couldn't see it. So now I'm going to click on the start setup, and then through this one, now here is the privacy, which by default is enabled. I'm going to leave it enabled, and then skipping all those online account. I don't need to do that one at this time. And this is telling me about myself, so I'm going to type in my full name, Wahidullah, and then the username, I'm going to create it short. I'm going to just say Wahid for short. And then it's going to be an enterprise level login. So I would just leave this button off unchecked, and then everything else is there. I'm going to say next. Then I need to give a password for the user Wahid. Again, a strong password with a combination of uppercase and lowercase, and then make sure that password is somehow using the combination of lowercase and uppercase, as well as some non-ASCII special characters. And it is not a name, or it's not your pet's name, or your name, or your street name, something like that. So make sure that it is done. Now it says it's all done. Rocky version, start using Rocky version 9. And this is the nice interface that comes as a default. Then it gave me a tour, and that if I want to take the tour, I could say, since I have done this one, I'm going to take the tour for you, just so you can see what the tour provides you here. The tour is basically, it says start a tour here, and then it tells you, get an overview, what you're gonna see with it. It is the terminals and all these options, Firefox and other things that you could get it, or Mozilla or other software that you could download later. You could get that, make up your own. If you want to create your own apps, you could do that one with this. Keep on top of with the workspace, how you create your workspace so you can clean it up, down for overview, all of that. This kind of buttons that you can say how to do right click and the other ones. I'm not going to go through each one of these. And that's it. We hope that you enjoy Rocky version 9, Blue Onyx. So I'm gonna say close this one. Now I have the Rocky interface here. I can also full the screen, or I could size this one a little bit to just you could see whatever this is, like a desktop version. And then here, if I just click on this, now you can see that the whole Rocky desktop is showing under this, and then the option Firefox here, files, and then a software update, help, and then terminals, and then show all the application. If you click on this one, it shows all the application here. So the options that are here are a number of them, and you can right click on the terminals here, right click here and say a display setting. And then if you want to change the display setting resolution, as you can see by default is this, you can change it to other resolution. For example, let's just go through the options of, let's see, 14. So I'm gonna go just with this one to see for now what is this do. It is a little bit too small, so I'm gonna keep it for now. To just show you the option that you have, and you can see that the list of things that you can see through this, it is a kind of like, if I click on the menu here, now you can see the software menu options that are there. You can read the icon a little bit different, so this is kind of really good. And then the terminal that you open here, even though the terminal is really small, you can do a shift control plus, and you can change the size of the terminal, and you can type in the information here. So if I just want to go back with a different resolution, this is like a little bit too small. I'm gonna go with a bigger number. Let's see if we have something like the one that we have, 1400 by 1050. I'm gonna go by this one, 24 by 768, and then I'm going to keep this one. This is a little bit better because I can see the icons, as well as I can click on the background images, and I can just say, well, if I want to change this one to something like this background, I can change it, and I go here. Now it is there. At the same time, if I go to the setting, I can change the setting here, or if I want to just go back to change the background here, I get the options, and I could set it to this color, and then that would be this options. So as I open the terminal here, notice the menu that are here. It is showing up all of the utilities that are there that are supported, the screenshot, the fonts, the logs. So if you click on the fonts, it will tell you the fonts that are supported here. These are just like this. I'm gonna give you a full details of the entire system, and then how to use it. But let's just get to the terminal, and I'm gonna just do a Control Shift plus and make it a little bit bigger, so you can see the terminal clearly. As you can see, the terminal shows the user that's logged on at the local host. So if I say ID-UN, it's going to say Wahid, or who am I is going to say Wahid. ID-group name is also Wahid. So grep -I Wahid from EPC password. You can see that the user ID is Wahid, and the group is also Wahid. So because the user ID is 1000 and the group is the 1000. So ID-G for group it shows that is 1000. ID-U for user name is also 1000. But if you wanted the name, then it's gonna say Wahid. Group and name is Wahid. And grep minus I Wahid also in etc group file, you can see that it is sorry, on group file I just wrote groups group file, you will see Wahid is the group ID number. So ID-GN will still show the same thing as there. Get and password Wahid, you can see that it is that information. And if I want to say, for example, select this information and then do a grep minus I, and then do something like $, and then ID-UN, and that would be Wahid, and then Wahid is highlighted in red because the alias grep is color coded with color autumn. So whatever information I want to pick up, I will show that one in red. Similarly, if I say cat etc Rocky dash release, because this is a Rocky release, you can see that it's there. And if I say grep 9.2, you can see 9.2 is showing in red. So if I say egrep, and then I want to say look for the word Rocky or 9.2, then those two will be highlighted and red. Then that way you can tell there. Or if you wanted the code name, you could do another onyx blue onyx. That's the code name. It will also show that one in red. So that's how you can identify those ones specifically there. But you can also do a cat etc os-release, and you can see that is giving you that it is a Fedora distribution of Linux, and then Linux is version is Rocky Linux 9.2. If I just clear my screen here and then do a cat minus n with line number, you can see that is Red Hat and CentOS Fedora distribution. So that is highlighted, as you can see, Realm and CentOS as Fedora distribution. And then the code name is a blue Onyx, and the version is 9.2. So that is the version that we are running. And one last thing that I want to do is to make sure that before I bring this machine down, I just do the latest updates. So let's clear the screen and say, I could say which yum was symbolic link. Yum eventually will go end of life, but at this current, if we do file a user ben yum, it is symbolic link to DNF-3. And then so is DNF as a symbolic link to DNF3. But DNF-3 is a Python program, and it is a Python script. It has about 62 lines here. This is the actual file that it does. So if you do a DNF, it runs DNF-3, or yum, you do it and you say DNF and then list. It is going to show the name of the packages that are already there. You can do yum -- installed, -- available. All those options you could do, but at the same time, those are on a different video. So I'm going to test one more thing. I'm going to say ID-UN as Wahid. Now I'm going to do switch user do is u dash. That means it's going to try to log in Wahid with root, but maybe because I'm not on the sudo files, it might just say you're not on the sudo files. If Rocky automatically added the user sudo files, then I have an option. And you can see now I have that option to do it because I'm part of the wheel group. So if I say grep -i wheel from etc group file, you can see Wahid is part of that group. That's why I could do sudo without any issue. And then if you are not part of the wheel group, you have to do them vi sudo this file, and then look for root here, and then where it says these options are there, you have to cut and paste here, change this line from root to Wahid, and leave the other one there and enable it, and then do a WQ here, and then we'll save it. But I'm not gonna do it because I don't want a redundancy, since I'm already part of the root. I did not modify it, so that's why it says unchanged. So at this time, let's do one more thing. I'm gonna do a DNF update. So DNF update is one command that it's gonna look for your system to see what or the latest packages that needs to be updated. As you can see, it says 101 needs a package to be upgraded, and 6 packages needs to be installed. So I could do a DNF update or DNF upgrade. At this time, I'm gonna just say no for this one. I wanna show you this. So if you do a DNF upgrade, this also tries to do the same thing that is done. I'm gonna say no again here. But what you could do, instead of running those 2 commands, if I say pwd is one command, and I say ls is another command, at the same time I could say pwd and ls. While you're running the print working directory, run ls command also. Similarly, instead of doing DNF update and then another semicolon DNF upgrade or a percenter, I could say DNF update and DNF upgrade, both of them together, and I just say yes. It will just complete both of them at the same time. Once that DNF update is done, DNF upgrade is going to check, and then if there's any package that needs to be upgraded, it will do that one as well. Our system will be secure and up to date. After that one, then I can power it off, and for the next video, I'll show you a full video of how to use Rocky Linux with file system, with let's say interpreters, user account creation, installing software, using DNF, YUM, building software on it, and then maybe the Unix file system or Linux file system in this case, and then the package management. We could do compilers, we can do interpreters. There's all sorts of things that I'll show you on this one afterward. And so please stay tuned on that one, because you will be learning a lot. And when I say you will be learning a lot, it's basically for those of you that are going to school or just doing some kind of job in a Unix, Linux environment or operating system. When you learn one operating system, it's much easier to learn another one and then do better at your work or at your own company. If you build a company, you could do these things, and you could mentor other people once you know the system well. While you're doing great at your job, you can also do some sort of automation for your company or for the company that you work for. So all those options are at your plates. You just have to enhance your career, learn better, and get educated. And as time progresses, you will be proud of yourself and do great at the community that you live. So right now it is doing 200 of 8 of 208, which is almost done. So the kernel core 5.14, as this is happening, I want to show you the information about the kernel that is showing the release is 5.14.0. And then if you just open another tab here and then Control Shift plus, you will see the same screen. So uname -a, you can see the kernel is that one 5.14. You can also get that information with uname-r for revision information. If you want the machine type, you do a -m. The platform of the processor is x86 for the OS version. The system is Linux, and then -- kernel name would give you the same thing. And then there's a lot of these options. You can do dash help, and you can see all those options. By this time, I believe this might be almost there. And so while this one is still in progress, I'll show you some other stuff here. So you can see the date calendar is telling you that it is um, August 17, because it's Pacific Standard Daytime. It is already 7:53 p.m. In Pacific Standard Time. But why is it showing 17? Yeah, actually it is 17 today, and today is Thursday. So it is 17 in the 5:54, almost 8 o'clock, and then 5:53 or 5:54 now. And then once I post this video, you will enjoy it, and now you can see it is done. So this is done. If I run the same command again, and because it is done, it just says all the dependencies are met, resolved, so nothing to be worried about is done. If you run it 10 times, it will just say the same thing. If you run it DNF update, it will say the same thing. YAM update will do the same thing. So it is up to date. And YAM upgrade, it will say that it's done. So the system is done. And then there's also the GUI. You have the software update that you can click on this one, and then you can see welcome to software from the GUI. If you click on the update, you can browse the software, the list of software. These are something that I have to show you on the full course. And then here you can see the software update. You could have Firefox and other ones because we did it. If we check it the next time, it's also saying that the system is up to date. And then when you refresh the window, it might also say that the system is up to date with giving you a check button, and then you're all good. Because on the command line, when we see it, it should be the same as with the GUI interface. And it is still checking a little bit. Yeah, you see that it says up to date, the system is good. So we're all good. I'm gonna just close this one and then exit out of this one. And now we're ready to safely log out. So when you're here, just click on this power button and then just click on log off, log out first. You wanna log out first. Once you log out, then you wanna power it off. And then the logout comes in. Now it's the user that you can log in, or the not listed, you can log in as root if you want to, but don't log in as root normally because your system will be compromised if somebody knows your password. And since this is a VM, I only use it for a demo. I'm not worried about any compromisation because I'm shutting it down at this time. So it's not up and running on the network. Power off. And then you can see it is powering up. One last thing that I want to show you on the virtualization setting, when we did this configuration, I told you that this is running off my Wi-Fi network, and the reason is because this network address translation. When you configure with network address translation, it is bridging out of the host operating system, in this case, getting the operating system network from Windows, and then you're going to see everything. And once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and watch and enjoy all these videos. There's more than 1,000 videos already in the field of operating system, computer science related courses, and then operating system. I'm covering Linux, mainly Linux Ubuntu, Linux Rocky, Linux Red Hat, and CentOS, and other ones. And then Unix, I have covered Solaris operating system, and then some BSDs, and then Mac OS X and Windows operating system, PowerShell, documentation, Windows Help, Linux manual pages. All of them are here. Python programming, C, C++, awk programming, bash scripting, shell scripting, MySQL shell, PowerShell terminals, and then full course on Red Hat Linux version 9 or enterprise version of Red Hat 9, and then full course on Windows, and then Python, IPython, Jupyter Lab. There's all of these courses that you could learn and start using them. And then even in Farsi, I have some videos that are helping the Afghan innocent children, and that they need pre-educational, whether boys or girls. Most of them are interested to learn in life, like everybody else, to have a better life for themselves. Let's help everyone, and then we're here to help. And then even what Chat GPT and Python, learning online, made easy. All of these courses, I have made so many of them. Python object-oriented programming in terms of WordCup. Please watch those ones. So you're gonna have fun. You're gonna enjoy it while you're learning it. You could mentor other people. There's so much videos about the kernel, the architecture of the kernel, for example. I have videos there that I explain to and do. And same thing with the database. What is a database? What is a DBMS? What is a relational database, object-oriented database, hierarchical database? All of that one is explained. Unix, Linux, scripting. Okay, so I'm not gonna go forever for 1,000 videos. I hope you subscribe and enjoy it and learn it, and then make some comments. So if there's anything that I can improve to help you out, definitely I'll do that. Take care. God bless you all. Have fun and enjoy your life. Bye now.